You know what time it is? It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's number one urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatt, alongside Jim Hicks, who is here and live in living color already. I'm waiting on him to get set up, Jimmy. When I see you sitting there, okay. I think you're ready. Let me see. Can I get you in there? Let me see how Jimmy this thing is, boy. Hey y'all, I, I'm at a remote location uh, somewhere. Jimmy, I gave Jimmy a glimpse of where I was. I'm gonna try to give y'all a glimpse. I tried to have the studio set up in a way I could see y'all, but the sun was blasting in my face, so I'm trying to get. Hey, I'm just glad to be on, and and I hope it's coming across clear to you. But Jimmy, great, what you call it, Jimmy? Baby Friday, and
Baby Friday.
Baby Friday. We gonna try to make this thing happen today. It's so much stuff, man. Let me tell you something. I got off the phone, Jimmy. That's why I don't like to talk to you before the show, cause now you got me thinking about so much stuff, man. Um, and like I said, I hope all the summer basketball people had the had got their safety. Everybody got their safe, Jimmy. I don't know when do the games start, Jimmy. When does the actual live period start? Today at what time?
This morning. This
Oh, in the
morning.
morning.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah,
Uh huh.
this morning. The live period means we understand a lot of people. We have to simplify the fraction. Live period. That's terminology meaning that this grassroots events, Division 1 coaches are permitted to evaluate the players with their grassroots teams. Remember, they did it a couple of weeks ago, yes, so you don't get confused. But that was with their high school teams primarily. Now, there was a way around it. And you did have some individuals that played in the high school sessions toward the last 2 weekends of June.
Mm-hmm.
But those players whom you saw participate in as what we call stragglers, and those the only way you could play under that status was if your high school did not participate.
Uh huh.
So this was something that's very important. So for those of you, and it should add water to the fuel that many people out there attempted to flame in the past couple of weeks, uh, against certain selected high school coaches whom did not submit their teams to participate in the high school events. We're talking about around the country. Well, in case you didn't know, the individual players, we know in the state of Texas, if your team did not make the cut, did not make the deadline, they were allowed to play as individuals if they simply registered. So now the question that somebody would ask, if your high school team didn't play, you knew they didn't get in it.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you try to register as an individual if you so concerned?
Yeah. If you were trying to fight, some people was trying to fight the coaches, but they didn't know
Yeah.
the Jimmy. I heard they. You remember a lot of people didn't know the rules. They said.
But that's what you watch the Chop Shop for. That's why we invite you guys to ask the questions. You
And
nobody's
share
else
the
is going to.
hold up and share the show because it might be some people that don't watch the show. Jimmy, I found out. It's just a lot of people just don't know. I keep meeting people. Hey, I bet you when I leave this island, I bet you everybody out here know who the Chop Shop is. They hear me now, Jimmy, because I'm in my hotel room, but I got the balcony open, and I know they can hear me. So guess what? They gonna know about the Chop Shop before I leave this island. But what's up?
You got to wear. You hope you pack your shirt. You supposed to wear your shirt once, at least once on the trip. You supposed to let them know, let them see the shirt.
Oh, I come through. I got all my shirts. I'm gonna wear one
Oh,
every day.
you got to let them see
I'm just
the shirt.
repping my son today. I'm repping him today. Yeah, I'm
So I ain't
repping
got
him.
to even say whenever somebody say something good today, I'm just gonna do it like this. I'm gonna hold my shirt up. I'm just gonna hold
Bingo.
my shirt up. Whenever you say something good on this day, I'm just gonna hold my shirt up. That's how we gonna do in the Chop Shop. And you guys know, if you're a small business owner
Uh-huh.
out there and you're trying to one easy way, to get your advertisement on the Chop Shop. You send us an email and you send us your shirts or your hats, and we might wear them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get no free of that. Now, understand now, once we get too many of them, then we got to start charging you for wearing this stuff. But right now,
Yeah.
Think about it. That's fair deal. Send us your stuff, and understand, as long as it's not the color green.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason why it's being color green because
keep talking, Jimmy. I want to show this clown. Jimmy, keep talking, because I got something for the clown. Walter Yates, just a second. You just keep talking, Jimmy. You keep talking.
Anyway, but the reason why it's not green is because if you see behind me, it's a green screen. So therefore, and you can put different optics on there. So if it's green, the color green it would conflict with the green screen. So anything, understand, our email address, once again, chopshophtx@gmail.com. chopshophtx@gmail.com. Hal, what you got out there? What you got? Hal, that's your green screen? That's your green screen?
Jim, yeah, that's a green screen. Green screens don't look like that, Jimmy.
What?
Hey, Jimmy, that ain't the Gulf of Mexico. That's an ocean out there, Jimmy. Hey, you see the mountains? Hey, we ain't got no mountains in Texas. That's for them dudes who ain't never been nowhere like Walter Yates. Sometimes you got to show them them mountains and volcanoes. Hey, that's an island over there. Jimmy, I'm gonna go canoeing as soon as I get off the show. I'm gonna go canoeing to the island. You know how I do, man. Hey, man, y'all better leave me alone. Hey, I'm on my thing right now, baby. Let me get that off, Jimmy. Let me get that off the screen. Hey, I'm on my thug thistle out here.
You say thug thistle?
Yeah, but man, I'm having a ball, man. I'm representing out here. We having it's great. Hey, boy, hey, Jimmy, it is something else. Somebody just texted me, said they saw a purse over there, sitting over there. Hey, guess what?
Y'all be out. They be out hustling.
They be out hustling. Don't y'all know my daughter's with me on this trip? Come on. Yeah, she gonna be laughing at y'all in a minute. So yeah. But what else going? What with Jimmy? Let's get to the show. Hold up. That's an island out there, and that's an ocean. I ain't gonna tell you which one, but that's an ocean out there. Whoever want to know. But what else, Jimmy? So tell me. Finish telling me about Coach Jimmy. This is a unique week for you. It's a great week for you. It's a great week for this community. I remember you told me something about yesterday. You were letting me know that Robert to the people who thought this wasn't going to have its potency, you done figured out a way to make it potent. You done put some spice in it. You done put some. You follow me? You done did some stuff to it. So it's so unique. That tell me what this live weekend means to you, because you didn't have it last year. And I know you was a little down. I had to talk you off the ledge a couple of times. I remember. But tell me what this being able to do this again. Tell me what it mean to you.
Oh man, it's a great thing to be back. Of course, during the live period, the GMI, the George McClellan Invitational, tips off this weekend in Houston at the gym. That's 2325 Atascocita Road, right there in Humble, near in the shadows of Bush Intercontinental Airport, and also at Benjamin Davis High School. That's Aldine Davis High School as well. A lot of some of the ninth graders and below will be playing over at Davis High School. So once again, as you guys may have noticed, one of the new trends is I love incorporating a high school or a school into as an alternative location, and because it's more it's more seating, it's more comfortable for people. But back to the GMI.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know, what does GMI stand for? Somebody sent me that question a while ago.
Yeah.
And the GMI stands for the George McClellan Invitational. Years ago, back in 2004, that was I was like 3 years into the business, And during that time, you know, H-Town was riding one hell of a wave. The state of Texas collectively was riding one hell of a one of my like a serious wave influx of talent had burst through the national scene. Not to say that we didn't have national talent in the 90s. Of course, with Rashard Lewis, Alden Ford, and all those guys were McDonald's All-Americans. But in 2000, remember, going from 99 was Ivan McFarland with the Willow Ridge. Then the 2000 and 2001 with the TJ Ford, Daniel Ewing era. Then you had 2002, it shifts back up to Dallas with Dallas Lincoln, with Chris Bosh and those guys. And then you had two young dynamic guards at a school called the Colony was coming through the pipes, Bracy Wright and Darren Williams. And then that's 2002. Not to mention Ike Diago I can't and the Hopkins boys and you know one of them was 2002 and the other one was 2004. But then you know but 2003 it shifted back to H-Town to Greater Houston, but we had Indy Eby, Kendrick Perkins, Cartier Martin, Lanny Smith, Tack Minor, you know, Marcus Hall, Michael Yume. It was just, a landslide of talent that's coming through the pipes in Houston. Then right behind it, you had two young fellas that was next up. Daniel Gibson, Jawan McClellan. Was 2004.
Right.
So that thing, and then you had you had Gerald Green come right back and took the world by storm with his athleticism and you remember when you had players like that, you know what happened? Players, of course they traveled abroad, but then they also, if you wanted to play them you want to play them for the most part, you want to see them, you had to bring your ass to Houston. If you want to see TJ Ford them on their own terms, you had to come to John Urie's event over at Clear Lake. That was a Texas classic before it spun off into the Pearland Classic with Rick Nelson.
Can I intersect something here, Jimmy? That's why people in Dallas are kind of coming up, not coming up, but because people want to come there to play against Keontae George. If you want to see Keontae George and them guys, that's how this stuff works. Is you trying to give us an overview on really how this thing works? Okay, I'm just texting. Come on,
keep going.
No, but so now we just waiting on the cycle where we get a group of these guys, and it's gonna come back and be people gonna have to come to Houston. And Jimmy, that's what I'm glad you explained that. Now we got to know when we get these special guys. You remember I told y'all we got to take care of them so they can. So we guess what? That's what I meant. If we take care of our guys, they gonna stay here and won't go everywhere. People have to come here to see them. That's one of the reasons I said let's take care of our guys, and because let's put them in an environment, especially our top guys, where they feel so comfortable here, they'll sit back. Hey, man, if you want to play against me, you got to come to this tournament. You got to come to the Icebreaker. You got to come to here. You got to come to here. So, I mean, I was just curious because I know how this industry was turned up on its ears the last couple of years, and just how it feels to be back now at the helm. Now you got the coaches package. You got you. I know it's the GMI, but you help. You the engine. What you call it? You the engine that helps fuel it. Marjorie Walker is I guess is a curator of it. But I mean, I just been watching this thing, y'all, for so many years. I remember when the franchise All Stars. I didn't understand it back then, Jimmy. I was just going at the behest of Henderson and Branch. But I'll never forget, Jimmy. We would always, this is how we did it. We would go up there and support Tony Jones at an event, right? And then we always come back here to make sure we came here. And that's what you just inviting other teams to do. It's all right to go somewhere else, But come back here to show your city love too, because the same coach is gonna be at both places. You can speak on that if you want to.
Well, yeah, and I think that understand times have changed. We know that, but then a lot of people that are in grassroots basketball are the same guys, and there are for the most part, it's a whole new regime that of guys that are out there for the most part. Some people may have been around, but not necessarily in. Remember that you can be in the yard, but not in the house, and you can be in the house, but
Right,
not in the room.
right,
And
right,
remember that in business.
right.
And so, I think that it's I'm just this year I'm giving it a mulligan, Hatter, because
Okay.
there's so many people, man, been cooped up in the house and couldn't wait to schedule out of town trips because you couldn't take them for the most
Okay.
part last year.
I'm
So
with that.
I'm gonna say that you know what, this year people just want to get the hell up out of Texas. I get the hell up out of town
I got you.
and just go and
Okay.
just flap their wings about the cabin.
Right.
But however, let me tell you something. I'm going to show you guys at the GMI is going to show you proof on Saturday for certain. I could speak on Saturday and Sunday, but I'm just going to start with Saturday because it comes first. And I want to show you guys because a lot of times, a lot of people didn't even get to experience the GMI during this cresting days when it was like,
Crazy.
when it was like, let me take you guys and give you some Black history. The GMI started. George McClellan. I was telling you the story about 2004. Jawan McClellan and Daniel Gibson. They were from Jones High School and Milby High School, both HISD products. They both made the McDonald's game in the same year. I don't think there's ever been two HISD players to make the McDonald's game on the boys' side in the history of the McDonald's game since 1978. That's how dynamic that time and era was. Well, Daniel Gibson, everybody on the South Side loved Daniel, and Juwan grew up in St. Peter, going to the Catholic middle school, and then went over to Milby, and in his senior year, he got a brand new coach. The coach that came there, that he went there and played up under, Coach Honey, he retired. The assistant coach took over. Jimmy Duffer took over. First year, never been head coach in life. Jimmy Duffer was the former ball boy, was the manager. That's what they call him for University of Houston basketball back a few years earlier.
Right.
Well, Jimmy Duffer took this team, and they kind of felt they were going to. They were going to be good. They didn't have no player over 6'5". I say that again. No player over 6'5" was on that team. Kind of remind you somewhat of that Milby High School from class of 1985, but that's a different old story. We'll talk about that later on in another show. But this Milby team, they went and they won a couple of games in November, Heather. So then came the annual holiday tournament that just was a couple of years old, but in that first year, it ended up bringing Carmelo Anthony here back in 2000.
I remember that.
It's called Academy National Invitational.
Yes.
And the Academy National Invitational, Milby, they was good enough because, and Hal Passner was the facilitator and director. He put them in the national division. You only had 8 teams in 2 different divisions. It was 8 teams with a national division, 8 teams in a Texas division. Everybody played 3 games. It was a bracket format, but you only got 3 games. Well, Jones was in the Texas division. Milby was in the national division. The rest of the teams are pretty much all around the country. Your powerhouses, your Oak Hills, at the time, your St. Patrick's. That's what Kyrie Irving came out of. You name it, your powerhouse teams, especially if they had Nike flavor, they were almost mandatory. They got an invite to this tournament, they came. Well, guess what happens? Milby runs the table. a team that nobody around the country, remember, there was no social media. You had MySpace, Black Planet. No, you didn't have MySpace. You had Black Planet. And they wasn't talking about no high school basketball on that portal. Think about it. So the only way you got it at that time was word of mouth. Word of mouth. Or if you went on somebody's website. Milby wins the tournament. Jones wins the Texas division, Heather. So Daniel Gibson and Jawan McClellan both win that tournament. At that point, now you couldn't ignore little old Milby High School because people, now that's at the time, that's the most prestigious tournament in the country. It used to be Slam Dunk to the Beach, but right around that time, out of the guy who ran Slam Dunk to the Beach, that's the tournament that Willow Ridge got their stripes on. Willow Ridge High School went to Delaware, Slam Dunk to the Beach. Well, one of the guys who ran that tournament got caught up by them alphabets, and the tournament had to shut down. Guys know alphabets. You know what I'm saying? Like
DEA,
FBI,
FBI, yeah. CIA,
ATL, you see alphabets. You chose, they got it. So that tournament to shut down. So now Hal Pastner's event was the event. Jones won it. So then guess what Jones does? Now they're the king, as you would say in the hood, they king ding-a-ling. And guess what? No more trips. They had no more trips out of state. They're going into district play when you come back out there. That was during the Christmas holidays. So Jones ends up going to the state tournament in the class 5A. That was no 6A back then, guys. 5A was what you consider 6A now. That was the top division. And guess who else made it to state that year?
Ooh.
Jones with Daniel Gibson in class 4A.
Oh, they didn't go. They didn't go run the sweep up there too.
They didn't lose a game. They get to the championship and they play Milby plays Cedar Hill in the championship. That's with a kid named Jason Harden. He had an older brother, Daniel Harden, went on and played for Michigan. They both from DFW. This was a highly.
Talking about Harden?
Yeah, Jason Harden.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jason Harden. After the game, Jason Harden had to be rushed to the hospital for blood clots. And some internal stuff from that pressure that Milby put on him. That's not necessarily not to play on his health. But seriously, he had to rush to the hospital. Milby wins the state championship. Jones wins the state championship on a buzzer beater. That team with Daniel Gibson. Guess who hit the buzzer beater in the winning game, Heather, in that particular game? Jones in the state championship. Guess who hit the bucket?
Me.
At the buzzer, Big Doug Smith, the football guru now. Doug Smith was the center on that team with Daniel Gibson. He hit a bucket, falling down, about a 6-footer, and it went in at the buzzer. But anyway, my point is on this George McClellan. Milby wins the state. That's in March. Jawan graduates in May. He's going off to Arizona. That's where he committed to and he signed with. Josh Pastner was the assistant coach at Arizona at the time. And, Arizona was sexy. Don't get it twisted. Arizona was sexy. They had Josh, one thing about it, he earned his pay raise there. Now, how he got into the job, he was a grad assistant after he was on the team, and he gave him a grad assistant spot. But he wasn't trying to be a grad assistant to go and play overseas. His mind said he was going to be a grad assistant the way he's programmed by his dad, because Josh Pastner had coached the Houston Hoops. You follow me, guys? He coached the Houston Hoops, 17 and under. The team that had Emeka Okafor, the team that had Carlos Hurt, the team that had Melvin Watkins' son and Marcus Spears, who you see on ESPN was on that team.
Yeah, I heard about that team.
Darryl Mason was on that team. Not to name a few, but he was the coach. He got there. He got players. He got commitment from Juwan McClellan. Then he got a commitment from Finney Onabon in 2000. That was 2004. He got Finney Onabon, who didn't really pan out. Yes, but still, buy the rumor, sell the fact. Finney was a hot ticket. Didn't pan out in college as far as athletics. Finney's doing quite well. He wrote 3 books right now. Got 2 degrees. End up playing in the NFL. He got a couple of checks from the NFL for about 3-4 years. Maybe on practice squads and as a reserve, but he lasted. Now he got Nick Wise in 2006. Think about it. It's just out of H-Town. That's a pipeline. 3 star players, 3 number 1 ranked caliber players in a 4-year span. So he was good. He playing with house money. And Nick Wise was so coveted that a junior college nearby took Nick Wise's brother and say, whenever he graduates high school, we'll take him up here so he can be nearby his brother. Pima Junior College in Arizona.
Nick had to be a bad dude.
Yeah, and Nick, guess what? And they love Nick Wise up there. Nick Wise went up there and started. At first, they was, man, how this short guy going. Kind of like same way how some of you folk in Georgia felt when they signed Syvelle Wheeler. That's the same way Arizona felt when they got Nick Wise. Man, we know we hear about him, but he ain't but 5'9". But can he? He ain't gonna be able to play. Why they get him? We could have got him. But anyway, back to this. Juwan McClellan goes to Arizona, and guess what happens? This is when the story grabs you. His father never got to see him play a single game. His father never got to see him off on his first day of regular college. He was going to summer school. In June, weeks after Juwan McClellan had graduated high school, his father had tragically died, spontaneously died while he was driving his car. George McClellan. George is one of those guys that there's some out there now, but he was everybody's dad. He walk in the building, it's going to be positive energy, and you can feel it just pouring from his pores of the care about your kid. How is he doing? Let me go. When the game, come here. And he's the one that would talk to the young man. Talk to him. Man, and just sit there and score, just pull him over to the side and just talk to him. He was the guy that everybody loved, George McClellan.
Wow.
And so George McClellan passed away, and the city had fell in love with Juwan McClellan. Remember, Juwan McClellan was a McDonald's All-American that year. He went in April of 2004. The McDonald game was in Cleveland, Ohio. Juwan and Daniel both played in the McDonald's game. Juwan McClellan was a darling of the city. You had brought pride to HISD and the city of Houston, along with not to mention, of course, what Daniel Gibson did with Jones High School as well. But then, this young man who had leaned on his father all them years and saw other people lean on his father as a crutch of advice and of counsel, of motivation, of inspiration, he's gone. So immediately what I thought at the time, just instinctively, man, let's put together. I made a couple of phone calls. Chris Walker at the time was a coach. He was in between college jobs. and he had formed a team, the T-Mac All Stars, and Chris Walker. I got with Chris, and I got with maybe it was about 17 other teams. It was something small. It was only about 8 teams, maybe 12 max, that can make their schedules adjust to where they can participate in a little 1-day tournament or something. It was 2-day tournament. That's what, 2 days at Chavez High School, which is in the shadows of Milby High School. Only 2-3 miles away from Milby is Chavez High School, near Hobby Airport.
I like Chavez.
About 6 miles away. Well, we put together this tournament, and the ideology was simple. It didn't have a name on it. It was just a tournament, a benefit. Whereas we agreed and people understood, whoever it was, we called all hands on deck to come and volunteer. Whoever was at the work in the door, I don't remember that year, we got 2 big manila envelopes for each day, and you stuff whatever came in the envelopes. You stuffed it, came through the front door, put it in those envelopes. And it took about 2 different envelopes. The referees even worked for free, Hatter. Everybody volunteered.
Wow.
With understanding. There's no money being charged. No money is passing hands. As far as they're not trying to make a dollar off of this. Mm-hmm. Everything coming, that's why you guys may notice I'm so keen when I see events and they say a portion of the proceeds will go or benefit this. Why can't they say a percentage? Why can't they give you a certain amount? A portion can be 1/10 of 1/10 of 1/10 of a percent. Why don't they? And when I see people say that, I already know immediately, because I've done it over and over and over again, benefits and fundraisers. I know it's easy to say 100%.
Because it's not so they just being real. They just telling you ain't no 100% of this going nowhere. We just gonna give up a portion of it. Whatever the portion sometimes is a big portion. But you saying in this business is not, because I've been in certain fundraisers and I know they gave more, but they didn't want. Sometimes, Jim, it's tacky how much they told me to say how much you giving. So
I'm just saying, why not? No, you don't have to say how much. You can say a percentage. Remember, I said a percentage.
A percentage, yeah.
Because you don't know how much percentage. Yeah, why not just say a percentage? You know how much percentage in your mind.
Yeah.
10%. So you're gonna tithe, TITHE. You're gonna tithe to them.
No, they don't supposed to be tied to. Don't.
That's what I mean. Saying, but I think going on. They supposed to what?
I understand what you're saying, because you probably dealt with people who didn't give nothing, gave the bare minimum. But I've seen the situations that I've been in contact with. I've seen that they gave over and beyond, and if anything later came, they gave it again. So I know you coming from that point of view, but I don't want to. Because we got some people might be trying to do fundraisers on this show, and I don't want people to stop giving because people, the people, talking about they're gonna give the words portion rather percentage. Just understand, man. Just if you believe, see, Jimmy, this is what I learned about this, and it helped me out a long time ago. When I give, I'm giving what I want to give. So it don't matter what you do with it. The act of me giving is more important to me than what they do with it. Because guess what? He knows why I gave it. If you go mess with that money and go do something wrong with that money, then it's on you. I promise you, that released me from giving. I never forget the other day, and Jimmy, and he brought it to my attention. Chris Walker was at the golf tournament. Was headed to the golf tournament of the ABIS. That's when what's my name? Gary Charles is over the event. Chris sent me the link, and I should have sent it to y'all too. He sent me the information immediately, because I know when they're giving this golf tournament, he's trying to raise money. Immediately, I clicked the button and gave. Chris Walker called me and said, man, But he reminded me, and I said, Chris, why didn't you remind people on the show? And listen to me. I don't know what the ABIS going to do with it, but when I gave it, I just gave it out of me, because Jimmy, I'm not gonna get mad if I find out it's wrong. They done embezzled the money. You know why? Because guess what? I gave the money. My act of giving was good enough for me. When I promise you, Jimmy, that released me. Hold up, y'all. I wasn't always like this now. I was always skeptical. But when I found out the principles of sowing and reaping, the gift of and giving and getting blessed and giving out of out of your heart and giving and I put it, Jimmy, I use it as a sacrifice. Because you remember when people used to come sacrifice something, it's a calf or some sacrifice. That sacrifice sometimes is burnt up, Jimmy. So guess what? It's burnt up anyway. But your art of giving, your act of giving is better. And I understand what you're saying, but to free people up like they freed me, I'm giving it because I want to give it. If you go and mess it off and buy some weed with it, whatever, that's on you. You know, Jimmy, like the homeless people downtown. One of these dudes, I promise you I love him. That man had a sign that said, "Why lie? Man, I want a beer." I said, "Man, come here. Go get you a 6-pack or 12, whatever, however they buy." I said, because Jimmy, he said, "Why lie? I want a beer." Man, go and get you a beer. Go get you a beer. But no, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we were giving you guys, if you just tuned to the Chop Shop, we asked you to share the show right now to your timelines, to your friends. Share the show, if you will. It's Baby Friday. And what we do was giving you the history of the George McClellan Invitational and how it came about. And we were back in the year 2004. I mentioned, if you just tuned in, George McClellan was the father of Jawan McClellan, former All-American, who went on to Arizona, and now he's transformed after he coached in high school sector for a few years, most recently at Jack Yates High School. Then he went on to become an Houston police officer with the HPD, where he's been for about 4 or 5 years right now. Now, Jawan, we gave that tournament, and it was unknown to the mother, Miss Mary McClellan, of what we were going to shower or relay to her family. She didn't know. She thought that we was just trying to do a tournament, and that we was just inviting her out to come and speak because that's what I asked her to do. So when I asked her, can she come before the championship game? Do you mind just coming out and see the support that the community has as everybody's congregated, in memory. This wasn't a funeral. This was our memorial service, so to speak. They were playing basketball in memory of George McClellan. So Mary came and she spoke, and she gave some strong, stern words. Understand, this woman had just lost her life mate, her friend, my best friend. Do you understand somehow best of friends they had to be? I'll tell you something, this to make you laugh. This is the only couple I've seen do this. Now, you guys may have known one, but I've never seen this in my life. George McClellan went to the dealership and bought 2 vehicles, the same color, one for his wife and one for him. Some of y'all go and y'all wear matching shirts, a matching color. Y'all gonna coordinate with each other. He went and bought 2 SUVs, the same damn color. One for Mary, one for him. So she got up and she spoke. And as she got through speaking, around that time, that's when I had motioned to everybody, "Yeah, y'all come on in. It's time." I had a few of the friends that I had, was just getting into the business now myself. 2 years to in, maybe 3. Well, it's 2004. I was going on 4 years in. And they came and brought her those envelopes. And boy, it was a dry eye in the room. She had no idea every penny that came through that door. Plus people, remember, we didn't charge an admission to get in that tournament. It was donations only. You follow me? So this is how the setup was. I mean, if you wanted to come in, you didn't want to donate, then that's on you. Donations only. But every single person that came through that was an adult, put something in the kitty. We gave everything to her. And it went so well. The news, like I said, all of that story ran on all of the news cast that evening on the 10 o'clock news. It was, and it just grabbed the hearts because remember, Jawan McClellan, he was off at summer school at this time, getting ready to come on back home. And understand, think about how you got to be. You're 18, 19 years old, and you're off at college, and you get that news that your father passed away. Your father was every day. So now, Jawan, so now the community's saying, we got you. Miss Mary, we got Jawan. So that explains how people in Arizona, you see a guy like me, I made it my duty to fly to Arizona about every 5 weeks at the latest. I was in Arizona going checking on Jawan, looking out for a young little nephew. Go making sure I mean, you got to realize it's the pressures. What do you do when you get bored after a game? Especially a guy like me. This is different space for a guy like me. I never been through it. How have you been through it? After the game over, you call your son, hey man, you want to talk basketball talk. After the game over with me, I'm going on to the next one. So you have to be able to feel, and the person don't want to talk about it, and it's be there. So that means some kids, the mental health component takes his toll. Jawan McClellan ended up getting hurt. He hurt his knee. You got to recover. You're depressed. You might do what college kids do. You might start drinking a little bit more than what you drank before, maybe. But anyway, we thought about the next year. We say, you know what? We can't. That thing was so good. And Marjorie Allen was one of the police officers who had volunteered. She knew Jawan McClellan because her daughter came up during the school ranks with Jawan. So they both his daughter graduated from Hightower around the same time. They part of this, they was at the same age. So they had stayed at each other's house, and they were good friends. So Marjorie was volunteering. And then so Marjorie was very good friends with the family as well. And so that's when the idea came about. She was like, man, we got to keep this going. And so I don't know how we came up with the name, George McClellan Invitational. Let's do another tournament next year. I said, Marjorie, this is what we'll do. We'll make it invite only. George McClellan was prestigious. He was different. Let's not do it. She didn't care. She was like a regular tournament. Marjorie don't do tournaments. She's a police officer as well. So she's like, okay, let's do it. And so that's what it was. If you won at a certain clip, you got invited to the George McClellan Invitational. And so the local teams bought into that concept. Like, that's fair business. Good deal. And that means now, then the NCAA opened it up to where it could be a live event during that time in July. And when they did that, the George McClellan said, the quality of the teams, we didn't have a bunch of teams, but the quality, because you got invite only. And we didn't call it divisions. From the get-go, it wasn't a 17U. We called it hot, spicy, mild. We named it that way. We just gave it a little different, made it different. And the coaches loved that stuff too, because it reminded them of how the food tasted in the hospitality room. It was going to be hot, spicy, or mild. different things. And so it just took its turn, and coaches flocked to it because the city of Houston had bought into it and had everybody felt they had ownership, stake, shareholders in the George McClellan Invitational. That's big, guys. And guess what happened? That tournament was without a shadow of a doubt. That tournament was so big. When I say big, meaning with value, with meaning. We didn't never have over. I think we didn't never have a 1,000 teams. We never, only we got a couple hundred teams, but it was quality. It was so much quality that the Mike Kunstadt, his staff, would actually call us every doggone year to make sure that the GMI was not bumping heads with them. It was like, man, y'all gonna have the first weekend? Well, yeah, we want to make sure we're gonna be on the second weekend. We don't want to, because we know that's how important it was, and that's how respected it was. And so along the way, after a period of time, it was out with the old, in with the new. Remember, you had Keith White with the Houston Hoop Stars. You had Peter Curry them with the Houston Swoosh. I mentioned Chris Walker with his T-Mac All-Star. You had the junior hard ballers. You had teams that came through the GMI. The Galveston Hornets with Terran Petaway and Mike Evans and all those guys back in the day during this heyday when they was popping willies through that. And then guess what? Even the sneaker-sponsored programs, when they shuffled and reorganized July, they would still make it a duty when they made their plane schedule to go out of town, because they had to be obligated to go to a sneaker event. They would catch that early Sunday flight out, that midday flight, and get back into Houston to get one game in, at least. Guess where? At the GMI. It's almost like rubbing the log on Apollo. So this was the atmosphere of the city. And guess what? I had you guys. I got you. When you're doing it for the city, and it has value, and can't nobody say that time. The promotions, the marketing got up on it. Everybody got seen. The coaches was there in abundance. In abundance. Because they knew the city was hot. The city was on fire. The state was on fire. But you know what? That GMI had it wasn't an abundance of teams from all over different states that came to the GMI. Some came here and there. Yeah. You had out of town teams here and there. Louisiana and Dallas and, but guess what? For the most part, that GMI was a FUBU. It was for us, by us.
Look what you're saying. Let me interject, because you look what you're saying. I sit there and listen intently, because I was watching how when, and people got to understand the reason I address stuff like this is because our people need the more practice in it. Other cultures know how to do this. You think about this. You sit up. George McClellan, African American man. His son, Juwan, African American young man in summer basketball. Marjorie, African American woman that's in a correction industry. You, African American man, a black man. Think about this. Y'all built something, and guess who? So when I walk around that event, I don't walk around that event saying all of these black bodies, but the event guy who run the event or the lady who run the event, they don't look like the bodies. They look. So those are the kind of events I'm proud of, y'all. Listen to me. That stuff don't happen everywhere. Houston, we got it good. Ask Status Moody, ask guys from around the country. That stuff don't happen all the time, y'all. We are blessed to have. Let me tell you, and nobody perfect. You don't have to like Jimmy. You don't have to like me. You don't have to like. I'm just giving you facts. And I'm just giving you facts. These people built something that powerful, and that's why we have to support it. Man, I'm going out. Man, I don't like, he done pissed me off. I ain't coming down there no more. Then you get, I mean, I hear it. Then you get a group of people from Houston, gather with a group of people in Dallas. Well, I'm going to come up there just because I don't want to come to his event. Stop it. Stop. When we got some, what y'all wanted, hold up, Jimmy. You know what that likens me to? The Tulsa thing. What, you want to burn that down? You want to burn the GMI down? Jimmy just eloquently gave you the history of a father and son's bond through summer basketball. Father and son. Kid missing his dad. Dad died. They're helping the mom. Sewing stuff in the mom's life. This is an institution and we want to come and burn it down? No, y'all. Jimmy, we got to get better. We just got to get better, y'all, at that. So I'm just sharing that with you because I sit there and listen to that story. I've heard that story a million times, but something just hit me on it, Jimmy. That all of y'all just sit there and I mean, y'all made this thing happen. So guess what? I got to support it. What else you got, Jim?
Yeah, so that's the thing. We ask you guys, remind you to share the show if you will, if you hadn't done so already, man. Share the show.
Are they
It is
still
that
there?
time. And
Cause mine done went off. My it's still going, but I'm just on my personal device. I can't find them no more. I can't find them. So if yours working, everybody work. Is anybody there?
What?
Tell me y'all there. Tell me y'all out there. Huh?
yeah, I can see comments, but I don't see the new ones. But anyway,
Okay. Yeah.
And so we're talking about the GMI, and that stuff is everything. Understand, guys? All things. The GMI is still kicking. GMI has 100 teams right now,
Right.
and that's by choice. We could have easily got a lot more teams.
Okay.
That was all of the space that
Yeah.
we had chose to go with. It's an NCAA event. Whenever you add another location, you got to let them know. You got to go and do this. You got to go in every event.
Right.
Understand, Atascocita High School is not far from the gym. They were waiting with open arms to use that. Harvest Time, I had them on the books. They were waiting. The MI3 Center emailed Marjorie last week. Hey, y'all want to come on over here? We didn't think there was a need. It was going to be that big, and then the burst as this has projected, once the GASO, which eventually moved and eclipsed this particular weekend, but it's still the belief is, and I'm just not. I scratch my head on, like I said, I'm going to chalk this year up to the COVID and say people just wanted to go out of town. And because I know that as much educating as we do on the Chop Shop, there's no earthly way that a person because we see that, and I just like and what you're saying, there are some people that are in charge of basketball programs. They'll go somewhere. They went somewhere 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. They might not have played in the GMI. Mm-hmm. And then we watch when the teams go out of town. This is no lie. We track your every step out of town. It ain't petty. It's just I want to check and see if it's going to work out just like you claim it's going to work out. And then I check the other teams that you play against. And I check some of the college coaches and I ask them what they see. And then what I do is, and I'll keep a little notepad. Then that way now I know certain teams, the reason that you claim that you went, if it worked out like you hoped. Because those trips are $7,000 trips when you take a plane upward, at least. Going to Dallas is a $4,000 trip on a weekend. So if you're paying $4,000 for one kid, to get that look, from that Division I coach. It's not bad now. Not bad. Understand? Because you know all your kids ain't Division I
Right.
prospects.
Right.
So you're putting them in an environment where you thinking and making them believe that Division I coach is gonna be there, but that don't mean Division I coach is gonna be watching you. Now they might give you one opponent where Division I coaches. And so guess what? That's your opportunity. And after that, you're a little, in other words, a lot of teams go places where you be a small ant in a big ant bed, a small fish in a big pond. And it's okay. But if it don't work out the way that you hoped, that's what I'm saying. That's where accountability comes into play. Then come on home.
Yeah.
Come on home.
Just come on back.
And collectively, because I said it a while ago, Heather, on Saturday, JL3, their 17s, their 16s, and their 15s are all playing at the GMI on Saturday afternoon. All three of them are playing. The Houston Hoops 16s are playing at the GMI. Team Fox 15s is playing at the GMI. So what I did, my duty, like I could, you're doing scheduling. I can make a schedule one way, or I can make it to favor the college coaches, or I can make it to favor the teams. And you may wonder how so. This is how you can watch. If I'm the event operator and I'm just trying to satisfy the college coaches, and I'm gonna try to get all those teams, and I can put them in a 2-3 hour window and clunk them all together, and that way the coaches can let the coaches know, Coach, y'all all get here about this time, y'all will be up out of here by that time, and you get back to the airport and get back to Dallas, Atlanta, Birmingham, whatever the hell you want to go. That means I'm catering to the coaches. But what I did was I basically gave each one of those teams a game in sequence on one or two same courts.
But Jimmy, I
So
got a
that way
question.
now
When you finish
it
this,
benefits them players.
yeah, but I got a question for you. Those particular teams right there, and help me now. Those particular teams right there, I know they draw those go. They gonna draw the bigger name coaches. Okay, those particular
Mm-hmm.
teams you're talking about, right? All right. So, cause I'm just telling you how other people. I've been hearing this. I've been watching this on Twitter. I don't. Some of this stuff I don't understand on Twitter, but this makes sense. But those are not the guys that really need as much exposure as the other guys. How? And I'm smart enough. I ain't crazy. Y'all know if Division I guy, you're the Division I guy. You did, I can see a guy run down the court 2 or 3 times, and I can tell you, me personally, I can tell you whether or not he gonna be able to survive in a college environment. And that's all. Being Division I, mamas and daddies, being able to survive in a competitive environment that the next year they might, Jimmy, the next year they might recruit another dude, play your same position. And now they might get a guy out of the transfer portal that play your same position. How you gonna handle that mentally? And Jimmy, I'm seeing a lot of kids we need to strengthen their mental capabilities of, because everybody's so fragile. Everybody's caught up in everybody. And his name, image, likeness, Jimmy. Jimmy. This is what I pray for: the name, image, and likeness. I'm gonna pray this over these kids right now. Don't get caught up in the name of image and likeness and go and come and start sitting on that bench by not taking care of your business. I'm gonna repeat that. But back to what I'm saying, Jimmy. I see you said I'm gonna put those teams back to back to back so that can make it convenient for these coaches. But do we have a similar thing for the guys who are not as exposed? Or maybe the teams that they're playing against. Hold on. And maybe that's how you got it set up, Jimmy. The team that these guys got to play against. those are some of the guys that might not get this exposure. So, because I don't know who you got them playing against. I'm just trying to say, how does this, not the Houston Hoop guy, how does this benefit the guys of a little on teams that are not as popular?
Well, in this situation, once again, scheduling is important. If you're putting, there's two different types of ways that you make a schedule. And from an event operator, you can put your heart in it, or you can take your heart out of it. And I'm giving you the game. This is about as real as it gets. When people does schedules, it's two different ways. You can put your heart in it, or you can take your heart out of it. And in this situation, if you look at the schedule for the GMI, those showcase games on Saturday, they're taking place during bracket play for the teams in the actual tournament sector of the event. So regardless of your division, if you won your pool, you will have one of those games on a court right adjacent to one of those games going on. That means my heart was all the way in it with my schedule. Now, I don't know who's going to be playing on those games because the bracket play don't start till Saturday. But I got the placeholders already there. If you look on the schedule, every one of those teams that made it first or second in their pool will get to play alongside those showcase games. So what happens is a place like the gym that has good
access,
a good ambiance for a live event.
Yes.
It's an intimate setting. It's not big.
Yeah.
It's not humongous. But for a college coach, they have a balcony that a coach can actually evaluate 3 games from you, 2 on one side, then walk about roughly 20 feet, and you can look down on the other side on the blue court. So you can get the first half of that one, then sit over here for the second half. That's how a lot of them do. Well, if I got the schedule, and I was very keen of the blue court versus the white court and the red court and the gold court. So I made sure that some of those showcase games.
Jimmy, use our new word, very intentional, but keep going. You were intentional, but keep going.
That was definitely intentional. And with that, and so therefore, if you were winning, then you would have the opportunity, just as though that you would have had if wherever you went anyway, out of town. So a lot of those teams are going for the opportunity to be seen by the college coaches. Because if you knew the college coaches was going to see you, then they're going to see you no matter where you at anyway.
Yeah, right.
So that's why certain teams like the Houston Hoops 17U, their 16U came back to Houston. And that's a shout out and much respect to Clyde Jackson for making that decision. Clyde Jackson said, the EYBL teams have to be in Augusta on Sunday evening. They have to be in Augusta. All EYBL teams have to take a COVID test before getting on that plane. So if you're in Dallas, you get to come home like they're coming home Friday night. That way they can sleep in their own beds, wake up in the morning. If some of those young boys might have to cut the grass, wash the car, vacuum the house, clean the ceiling fans, do whatever the hell young boys do nowadays if they have chores. But they get to take care of that morning. So I called Clyde. I say, well, what time do you want your first and last game? And I figured it out the rest of the way. He said, just anytime you give us, big bro. I said, no, Clyde. You coming off the road. I'm going to give you too early. But I'm going to tell you what you're going to do, because Clyde's going to put together a little shindig on Saturday night for some grown folk. You get with me, I can give you guys where it's going to be at. Clyde had an all-white party a couple of weeks ago. It was like P. Diddy over there. Clyde heard. I was out of town, but I heard it was going down at one of the local good spots in Houston. So I say, well, Clyde, I'm going to get you out early I'm gonna start you late, but get you out early, so you can go get everything set up for the and rest and get ready for this evening, and also be able to get to the store and buy whatever you need to buy because you got to go out of town. These teams are going to be gone for 12 days, guys, at least at Peace Jam. So once again, you can do your schedule with your heart in it or with your heart out of it. And if you look at my schedule, you can tell my heart was all the way in it.
And I'm gonna help you. And you just said something that this is what I love. You said it a long time ago. You could have stopped there with me for my question I asked you, because I asked you how it's gonna benefit the lower tier guys. Guess what? You guys, you got to go win. Because if you win your pool, that's my incentive. That Jimmy, you could have stopped there. You ain't coming here to play. Go win your pool. We should have something to fight for sometime. We should have something to strive for sometime. Instead of, man, I'm just showing up. Man, I got these games. No, I need to win this pool because I want to be on the main situation where these coaches gonna be. That's a great incentive, man. I told you could have stopped. That's why I asked that question. Because a lot of people tell, well, what we do for the other guy? Go win your pool, player.
You win. I put you in a situation, and that's the part that as a person like me, I've always been consistent. Until I froze up a little bit.
No,
I've been consistent when I tell people, if you win, then I'm going to be able to fight for you, especially if you're winning. I don't mean I'm not fighting for you if you're not winning, but if you're winning,
it's easier.
It's easy for me to go and push that product through because I'm selling. In other words, if I'm lobbying for you to somebody, that's basically what I mean. Think of this as politics.
Yeah.
I got to go and lobby for you to push through your bill, to get your bill passed, or to get support for your bill. Bill meaning your kid. So just think about this as politics. So you need somebody. You can go and get some done. You can get a couple people to sign on this bill and do it your way, and it works sometimes. Some bills get bipartisan support. Think about it. But then there's other bills where you need a little help. So that means you need some lobbyists. Well, I'm that lobbyist that go and get that coach and go and remember, I'm one of the few. I'm one of the few in the country that college coaches, and people know it. If they were hanging and they knew and they came and hung out with in Dallas, we went to one of the restaurants after the TABC event, and guess what? Not a single coach had to pick up the tab. Not on either night. None of my college coaches were in the building, and they didn't have to pick up the tab. So that means a lot for relations with those guys. So now if I call up on those guys and say, I need you to give you attention to something, and this is what I tell him, I give him this kind, he might not be good enough for you, but take a look at this and shoot this to one of your dudes at one of the D2s or D3s or junior college that might like it. This is the type of fight. At the same time, though, the community has to be, or the person that's trying to get that bill pushed through, you have to be willing. Sometimes, if you want your bill passed, you might have to be sacrificed something. Think about it. In politics, every bill starts off a certain way, and by the time it gets to getting passed, they have to negotiate some stuff out of there or add some other stuff in there. So that means all your bills ain't gonna get passed Division I. Some you have to be understanding and willing. Hey man, D2, D3, NAIA, walk on if they got a little and understand. It's okay. It's about putting them in a situation where they can advance and not gonna hit that portal. Because they hit that portal, then your kid, you put them in a situation basically where everything they heard about college, they will hardly ever get to experience it. By the time people learn their names on that campus, you go into another campus and they got to learn your name all over again. You're just like a freshman all over again. So that means that you're incorporating and you're helping to facilitate basically 4-year freshmen. So the thing is, what I'm looking for next, I'm looking for this weekend, and there's a lot of teams in the GMI. It's the schedule is on the front of rcssports.com, or you can go to the GMI website, GMFcares.com. GMF, that's the George McClellan Foundation, GMFcares.com. And understand, this event is 4 days. It starts this afternoon. And this might be the first time, maybe I think maybe one other time in the past 2 years that I've actually been on the Chop Shop on game day. I'm normally never here on game day. Game day, I'm normally doing this and doing that, ripping and running, got this fire to put out, that fire to put out. I'm here with you guys on Baby Friday on the Chop Shop. And so if you are in town, then try to go and check the schedule out and make it a duty. Make an effort to come and support these guys and these teams. And once again, the way that it's set up, you have everybody will play 2 pool games on Thursday and Friday combined. They play 2 pool games, and everybody will go into a different bracket. You have a championship bracket and you have a consolation. Now, bracket play doesn't start until Saturday. You follow me? Bracket play starts Saturday. So during bracket play will be some showcase games sprinkled in at the gym as well. And that schedule, those showcase games, you can be found on the gmfcares.com website in conjunction also with the rcssports.com website. And you can even download the RCS Sports app. Everything is on there. Sunday, there's going to be championship games and showcase games combined, right? Somebody, they call it a scam call. And once again, that schedule is there as well. In the VIP news on rcsports.com, you guys can check that out. Doug Jones has a preview of the GMI with players to watch as well. So you guys can check that out. Now we'll go and entertain some of your questions. I missed some of your questions on there, and I try to get to some of the questions that you have for in regards to the GMI. And once again, there's going to be a lot of talent in the building, and a lot of players you guys may not have seen. You may not have seen, and what it does by playing in a live period at home. When Saturday come around, when those sneaker sponsored, the JL3 come in the building, along with the 16 under Houston Hoops and the Team Fox and all those guys playing. Then you have Garrett Temple has his young team from out of Louisiana coming down, and the Lake City Elite, the Lafayette Celtics, and and a couple other teams from Louisiana will be in the building. While when they're playing, and you watch the college coaches, then what you do is, here's what you do. Just imagine if other teams would have made the commitment to come and play in the GMI. That many coaches would have compounded. And that's what somebody may have some people believing that you guys don't possess the power that we constantly, repeatedly tell you over and over. You have the power. Your babies, through your babies. If y'all remember, as Chris Walker says, you got fingers and you got fists. Them fingers, Las Vegas, South Carolina, Atlanta, Dallas, Birmingham, fingers, fists. They got to come see you. I don't know what you've been believing. That's the thing. I don't remember giving you some bad dope. I ain't never sold you guys no bad dope. So therefore, why would you not believe that if you collectively, they will come? They gonna come. They came. We've proved that already. This is not nothing I'm telling you that I wish that understand. Put it like this. Put it like this. Now, I'll go here with this. There's been people in the city that have played this song, that sung these lyrics. Say, man, all this fighting been going on between Hicks and this other guy. Man, I wish y'all just come together. Man, if y'all just came together, y'all did an event, man, everybody gonna come. So if you believe that, that means it ain't based on nothing factual. That's hope. But if you can believe in your hope, then I'm telling you what has already been documented. That when Galveston Hornets stayed at home and the Houston Hoop Stars stayed at home, the John Urie stayed at home, and the Fam Elite stayed at home, and all those guys stayed at home. Then Texas Pro came on back through on their way back in. Franchise All-Stars stayed at home. When you stayed at home at the same time, that's the key. Then you know what happens when you stay at home at the same time? You want me to tell you what happens? The spring icebreaker happens in July. That's what happens. College coaches get to see it. That's what happens. Because that's what you did in the spring icebreaker if you stay at home for the most part. And you see what happens? If you stay at home, you have confidence. I will get you enough fire from around the country to come and play you if you're staying at home collectively. Wow. I can guarantee you that, or your money back any day of the damn week. Ain't nobody giving you your money back guarantee. I will. Money back guarantee. I can't guarantee your son will go to a college for playing, or your players gonna your bill will get passed. But I can tell you one thing. I can guarantee you that I can get support for your bill. That's what lobbyists does. Yeah. They try to push it through. Yeah. I can get support for your kids. So that means now you economically you save. Parents, you can't tell your kids this is a business trip, and in the same breath you're treating it like a vacation. You could take your ass on vacation in August. If this is a business trip, then treat it as business. For in the terms of whatever you're seeking out of this business trip. I'm just giving you something. I'm giving you while we got the fire burning. I'm putting something else on the grill.
No, Jimmy, this is perfect. This is the start of the. That's why I'm glad you came on early today. This is the start of the live period, and all you're doing is reinforcing the stuff y'all do have. You know what you said, Jimmy? You said collectively. That's when you talked about the fist. Now, if all of y'all scattered all over the world, this ain't gonna make no hell of an impact. But when I ball this thing up, that's what this stuff about, man. It ain't about ego, or I'm mad at him, get mad at this guy, he mad at this guy. We ain't got to get, everybody ain't got to get. You parents need to understand this. Y'all got the power. Don't nobody have, everybody, I keep trying to tell it, Jimmy, maybe they need to study a little bit, but do you know, the people in the civil rights movement, all of them didn't get along. I mean, they didn't. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, they didn't always agree eye to eye. They had two different ideological philosophies. But it's just y'all. It's we at a time, y'all. Jimmy, I'm gonna bring her back up again. I'm gonna bring her up. Why can't we make a boss move, Jimmy? In summer basketball, we got the potency. And I'm not just talking about Houston. I'm talking about Dallas. I'm talking about Texas. Why can't we make a boss move like Nicole Hannah-Jones? Jimmy, you know what? One of the things I love about her, Jimmy. When I look at this thing, Jimmy, she said, "Jimmy, they turn her down, Jimmy. They turn her down. So no, you can't have tenure." Jimmy, she got quiet and didn't say nothing. Jimmy, she was over there what? Planning. Remember when you got off Twitter playing with them people? You went over there and had a meeting with Rick and what you call it. We didn't know y'all had the meeting till afterwards. Nicole Hannah, you remember you, Rick, that JRB and Brian Jolivet? Y'all was over there meeting. Everybody else is out here talking. Nicole Hannah-Jones was meeting. She met with the that's why I love it, Jimmy. She went and met with the president of Howard. Said, "Come here, man. Come sit at this table." Ta-Nehisi Coates, come here. Hey, the Ford Foundation, the Knight Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation. Y'all come here. Let's sit at this table. Y'all finna give me $25 million, right, to start this center at UNC. Let's bring that $25 million over here to Howard. Jimmy, those are the boss moves that I think can be made in this industry. You got to realize something. Think about it, Jimmy. We got to figure out a way, like your boy Hal Pass. Hey, Jimmy, if I was you, I would have been studying up under it. We got to figure out. Because, Jimmy, when you bring people to this town, Jimmy, you're a part of the tourism. You bring in out-of-town teams, they got to get, so it helps the rental-car place, it helps the hotel, it helps, this is a $1 billion business. You know that $1 billion business we complain about at the NCAA? But let's make sure we get let's make sure we get this money. Why everybody else got to get the bread? I'm sitting there watching Roland Martin. He telling all of these companies, Jimmy, these companies now to use black-owned media. But don't come give me no crumbs. Jimmy, it's a fight right now. He said, don't come give me no crumbs. They going to offer him, this big company going to offer him, I give you $1,000 to tweet on my social media, on your social media. He said, man, y'all can take that $1,000 and stick it up y'all behind. Because guess what he's saying? He's saying, I'm not going to do this, man. Y'all spending this money with everybody else and not spending it with us, the black media. He said, I'm not going to do this. I got 600,000 followers over here, a million followers over here, and you trying to give me $1,000 to tweet something? Y'all, we are so valuable, Jimmy, to these companies. We got to figure out how these companies, Jimmy, there's no reason the hotel shouldn't be your sponsor. The rental car people shouldn't be your sponsor. You've been doing a lot of your events without no damn sponsor. And you brag about it, but no, we ain't bragging about it no more. We finna be about it. Cause guess what? That's all right. If you don't want to do it, I just say, hey, Rob, you go talk to them for folks. That's your industry.
Well, Ella, I've put it out there before, and I put it out there again.
I know, but we're gonna
I tell people, any one of my platforms, RCS Sports, and one of them in one of these events, there are people that, like at radio stations. We had one that worked at one of the radio stations that we was at. He thought he was a freaking big, because he'd come down. We had the meeting, and the guy. Well, I used to work here. I was in secured all the advertising for this, and this. And so I'm like, okay, well, if you can sell that, then you Chop Shop shouldn't be no problem for you to sell. And he tried like, well, y'all need to go and do it. Then all of a sudden, now you want to tell us we need to do it. No. So then, but anyway, back to this.
No.
If you just say the spring icebreaker. Hell, we can start. season opener
Yes.
is you have the Super 16 in
I
October.
got a question. Is tourism involved with this? Are you bringing teams from out of town?
No.
People
Yes,
want to know all the
we brought that.
particulars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the icebreaker qualified for that.
Okay.
I've met with the Visitor Bureau way back in the days.
Okay.
In the traps, man. And the thing is, they have systems set up in the place, whereas they will, you can get blessed in many ways dealing with the Visitors Bureau or the Sports Authority for a city, your local city. I've met with them, several times.
Yeah.
And before, I'm going back maybe 12 years ago or so. So here's the deal. It takes time to go and do the marketing and the advertising to sell your own product.
We ain't gonna even talk about it on that. That's going, Jimmy. This can be
it's easier.
Yeah. This
go. Because what I tell, if somebody want to do it, I know what the going rates are.
Okay. Say no more.
The going rates for that is a commissionary type. You secure the ad, you get to keep a certain percentage. But I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm willing to give you almost double what the going rate is, and I'll put it in writing for anybody in the world. You can have an open contract anytime, and I'll give you a 5-year deal. Any advertising that you secure for any one of the platform, you get to keep at least 30% of the money. That ain't never been heard of in the country.
I remember when we did that for one of our little young intern. She said, what?
And at least. So therefore, now guess what? Once again, I'm find a way that you can eat. So if you're looking at the stuff, you say, man, you ought to be having more ads on here. Guess what? You go, when you stop by a restaurant, let them know, open the Chop Shop up. Yeah. We got ads scrolling down there. We'll give you a situation, even on the Chop Shop, where you can eat for bringing the ads.
Yes.
Listen, your beautician, your barber. Remember, we're using the radio station. If you guys that watched us for years, remember, we've even got haircuts live on the Chop Shop. Yeah. We had a barber shop coming there on Mondays, custom current cuts. Yeah. Came there for a few weeks. And he's the barber now, the personal barber of Deshaun Watson, amongst other stellar athletes in the city. Yeah. He came up.
But and Jimmy, I just want us to start looking bigger. Instead of Roland Martin got me, we got to start. We quit getting the crumbs, and we can get more. We're powerful. Then sometimes I just don't think we understand how powerful we are. And just take somebody. Jimmy, I'll tell you one thing. Dick Gregory said it great, and I'm going to be an agitator in this one. He said, if you go wash your clothes and take the agitator out, Jimmy, all you're going to have is a bunch of funky drawers, the nasty drawers. He said, you got to put that agitator in there to clean that thing out. So I just want to agitate us, not to make you mad. Just say, look, everything we look at, everything we do, you get in that car and go to, you get in your car and go to Dallas or go wherever you got to go to Atlanta. Are you renting a car? Guess what? Somebody's benefiting. The hotel, the peach industry at the Peach Jam, they benefit. I'm just trying to figure out, chopshophtx@gmail.com. Thank you, Kid Corey. I just want to be us in position to all of us. When you remember, Jimmy, I had a deal with this guy. This guy was talking about, we talking about, I said, dude, I want this to be a win-win situation. Not just a win-lose situation. We can put each other in. Like when I'm negotiating from a team, Jimmy. When I get this guy all this money, and people talk, he got all this money, but y'all don't know the owner. If the owner can pay him that money, can you imagine how much the owner's making? People talk about them athletes. Man, he balling. But Bob Kraft writing the checks for the athlete. He's writing the check. He write the front of the check. He got 53 guys he got to pay. So we just got to realize how, especially in this, Jimmy, the reason I'm helping on this industry, because Jimmy, when I walk in the gym and I look in the gym and I see our natural resources in there. I see our natural resources in there. Every time I walk in the gym, you're going to walk in the gym today. As soon as you get off this show, you're going to walk right over to the gym. You're going to walk in there and see all of those, our natural resources. The guys that the Ken Gambles of the world raised. The guys that the Herb Baker helped develop. The guys, all of you, DJ Anderson, all of you guys. Listen, I thank all of y'all for what y'all done for these young kids. All of you guys, I can't think about the Lawrence Pay and his crew, how y'all work, Teddy Wheeler and all of y'all guys who work these kids out. Y'all, these are our natural resources. And we got to learn how to benefit from our natural resources. And quit letting the other people benefit from your natural resource. Because guess what? You ain't going in there and benefit from theirs. So don't get mad at them. Just go back and say, hey, okay, I like that. Jim, do the JRB. Jimmy, do the JRB. Do the Hannah Nicole Jones. Y'all go sit at the table and let's make this thing happen. That's all. What else you got, Jimmy, before we get out?
Oh yeah, man. It's definitely ways. And of course, you guys know our email address once again, chopshophtx@gmail.com. Chopshophtx@gmail.com. We shift gears now and talk a little sports. We go to the amateur sector. First of all, I want to give a shout out to, speaking of which, the Houston Defenders. See you when they're in, forgot what city they're in right now. You guys help me with that. But they're out of town, and they opened up with a win this morning, a double-digit win. So shout out to the Houston Defenders, 16U out of town, and they're opening up, kicking a little butt. And I firmly believe that the great state of Texas collectively is about to kick a whole bunch of ass in the month of July. Yeah, they're going to lose some games. Yeah, not to go undefeated. But for the most part, the state of Texas is about to put a dent in the country, meaning that there's going to, in every tournament that pretty much I'm thinking that a Texas team is going to be playing in, for the most part, in the vast majority, especially the underclassmen, they're going to win, place, show every damn tournament that they play in. That's a tournament format. That's how much confidence that I have in the younger age groups. And thank you, Archie. The Defenders are in Atlanta, and they opened up with that win today. Thanks, Ken Gamble as well. And want to give a shout to them. And here's what we ask you guys to do over the weekend. If you're out and about, it'll help Monday's show. We're going to show you how to, remember, we're going to turn these fingers into a fist in various aspects. On the Chop Shop, your pictures is going to help create a collage that will serve as commercial breaks next week. Or even while we're talking, we'll show some of your pictures, either or. Some of your pictures. That is easier than your videos, because your videos, they're going to be different here and there. But if your videos as well, but if they're good enough, if you know what you're working with, don't send us don't send no crap.
They can send it, Jimmy, just won't get played.
But send your stuff like moments. Who you see in the place?
Yeah.
Who's in there? Give us a picture of the ambiance. And that's one of the things that's really important, Hal. People are going to tell you what they want you to hear. But sometimes a lot of stuff, like these evaluations of some of these kids. If you read and rely on social media to teach you, put it like, that's the key word, about some of these kids, you will flunk the class.
Oh,
For
is
a
that
lot.
bad?
Alec, come on. We and
No,
you've
no.
been in gyms before.
I know,
We
I
me and
know.
you've been in
I'm
the
just
same
messing with
gym before,
you.
and we sit there and we watch some action go down and looked on social media and somebody say this dude killing.
Jim, teaching moment. Glad you said that, Jim. Yesterday on this show, I mentioned you wasn't on the Jimmy, you wasn't here yet. I mentioned I was talking about the president of Haiti getting assassinated in his house and his wife was injured. Somebody came on this show and said that she had died, right? Because they had read that somewhere. Jimmy, that's why I tell us we got to get more than one source. I saw somebody with a blue check say it. Wait a minute, a no check say the same thing that he died, and then a blue check person came back and retweeted. And Jimmy, you told me a long time ago when you retweet something, that means you vouch for it, right?
You
So
co-signing that loan.
you co-signing that loan. So that person, the blue check person, came back and co-signed that loan, and then came back later and said the wife was there. But that's why I said it earlier, Jimmy. I said the wife is in critical condition. But somebody come on the feed and said the wife was dead too. And I just said, y'all need to just slow down and quit getting one source and consider the source. Go get 4 or 5 of them, and then so that's what Jimmy, you talk about these evaluations. When I've been in a gym one time, y'all I never forget this. I'm watching the same game that this guy's tweeting about, and this guy said, "This kid is willing his team back to a win," and that kid was stinking up the damn joint. I said, wait a minute. I called Jimmy. I said, whoa. This dude was freaking, I love the kid, but he was terrible that night. But somebody's talking about he's willing his team. He wasn't even making the play. He wasn't making the plays, the positive play. And I said, man, these people, y'all need to quit this, man. Tiffany, I promise you, I'm at the same game. I know, and I'm seeing the guy who's tweeting it. Unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. So, Jimmy, what you said about them tweeting and evaluators, what do you say about y'all watch them tweets? I mean, I'm talking about parents, because you can't stop them dudes from tweeting, Jimmy. So maybe we need to tell the parents, hey, take those things with a grain of salt.
I mean, yeah. And this is the thing. A lot of people, you got to realize, a lot of people out there in amateur basketball, it gets real today. In case you didn't know, this is the first time that Division I coaches can watch the grassroots teams play since 2019.
Yes.
It's been two years since they've been on the road watching these grassroots teams. Now, what a lot of them have came on a chop shop and confessed to and confided to, that they have been watching some of these, live streams. They've watched their fair share of mixtapes. And now it's time to find out if some of y'all out there been catfishing the hell out of these college coaches with these mixtapes. They for the see. Some of y'all. And you know what happens then? A college coach, they're going to still smile in your face. They're going to still be cordial to you. If you're the grassroots coach, they're still going to take your call. They're going to act like ain't nothing happened. But the minute you turn your back and they're in another meeting or another room and your name comes up, guess what happens? Those college coaches are going to look and say, and they're going to lay into you.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to lay into you. Let the world
chop
know.
shop for like 10 more minutes. I'll when I get done.
My bad.
Wait.
Jimmy, I hit the wrong button. My bad. That wasn't his fault. That's my bad. Come on, Jimmy. Keep talking. You shouldn't answer that phone, Chris.
And so that's one of the things that motivated me. We got Chris Walker joining us now. Yeah. And Chris, you might have missed a tweet I put out earlier.
Oh, you did? What
you as a college coach this is perfect timing.
Yeah.
and had a that
I'm gonna
from
find.
when you put it up early this morning. And this is really important because a lot of people understand something. A lot of things that we present and we throw out there for you guys on the Chop Shop, there's hardly anywhere that's going to be a valuable platform that you're going to get the stuff, this type of stuff, it's directly from a source that is experienced for in that sector. And here's what I mean, Chris.
Jimmy, it's just one for 4 hours ago about parents and players.
Yeah,
If you really want to know the truth,
yeah, that
okay.
one. Yeah,
Can I
that
read
one.
it?
Get that one.
Can I read it? Or you
You
want
want
me
to
to
read
put
it or you want to put it up there for them? Put it
uh
up there for them.
I'll
That
put it
way
up there for him. I'll put it up there for him. Hold on.
Chris can see what text it was written in. That way he can read it. Put his Villanova degree to work for a second. Now, Chris, basically in a nutshell, so you don't get bombarded. This simple this topic is how some people in public will make the parents think that they love their kid. They're gonna talk about them. They're gonna say, "Oh man, look, Johnny, he top 10 in the country. Ain't nothing. He the best thing out there, man." And then when they write their reports, it might be something different about little Johnny. They ain't got the same energy when they writing their private reports to you guys, or those private conversations to you guys between the evaluator. It's more calmer now. It ain't the song and the dancing pony thing. And that's the tweet from earlier today. And Chris.
See, Chris?
Mm-hmm. They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that, Jimmy.
Chris,
Yeah,
collectively, as a college coach, after you don't know you got that kid in the bag and you done got him signed, he's signed and already signed, right? Chris, you telling me that a college coach won't go and show that parent or that kid something that somebody else said about them before they got them signed?
Well, here's the deal.
You telling me that you won't?
If you do that, well, let me say this: you will be committing career suicide if you're that college coach, because if that evaluator ever found out you did that, right? Think about what Again, think about what they would do move forward regarding you, because you got to realize there's all politics as far as like who gets jobs and all that kind of stuff. And Jimmy, you know this as well as I do. They put yourself, you're the guy that writes that. Let's say you did it. And a lot of people don't know this, and even with Hatter the same way. When people want to get jobs, and see, people don't know this, Jimmy, you got to educate them. You got to educate the public on what actually goes on. There are college coaches that actually call Jimmy Hicks to ask him what he thinks about hiring a guy or not. Yes or no, Jimmy?
Oh, absolutely. Shoot, just happened
People
2
don't
days
know
ago.
that. People don't know that. Robert Hatter's buddy gets the job with the Dallas Mavericks. Penny Hardaway at Memphis. Ask
Damon
Robert Hatter,
Stoudemire
do
now.
people call him and say,
Yeah.
Damon Stoudemire with the Celtics now? Ask Robert Hatter his phone ring. Can you help me, Robert?
Yeah. It's already
So
been
people
ringing.
don't understand the tentacles of what's going on in the chop shop, the
Yeah.
power. They don't even understand what's going on.
Wow.
People calling Jimmy Hicks like, see, people, and Jimmy know this, and I'll go back and pivot back to what you were actually talking about. People don't realize that Jimmy Hicks ain't got to be your ally. But what you don't want him to do is be your enemy. That's what you don't want. Forget the ally part.
Hello.
What you don't want to do is him to be a guy that casts doubt in people's head. Because that's what happens. So if he does it, guess what? It's a wrap. But if he on your side, right, Jimmy? If he on your side, you got a great chance of getting what you want. So now to digress, to go back to the conversation that we were talking about, I don't know if it's worth a college coach saying, Jimmy, tell them what you really think, about them. Because at the end of the day, that college coach is going to try to recruit other kids in the future. And that evaluator, if you out him, he's going to make sure that it's hard for you to get a job down the road. So I don't know if it's in a college coach's best interest.
That's a good point.
I don't know if it's in his best interest.
But
it's not in his best
It's
interest.
not.
If he wants to get help
It's not
down
in
the
his
road,
best
if he
interest,
says something
but
he didn't want
in,
for public. Hold on, Jimmy. If you said something that you didn't want out in the public, that's what I'm saying. Now, if you saying, yo, man, I say what I
Well,
said. You know what I'm saying? Then it don't matter.
well,
You know,
it
Jimmy?
goes. What
You
this
see what I'm saying?
topic goes hand in hand. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can
I
you
hear
hear
you.
me?
I hear you.
Yeah, I get both of y'all.
Now
Yes.
this goes hand in hand with um in the recruiting business, the college recruiting sector. There's often times that after a kid has signed, that once he get on campus, that coach will somehow, that kid or that parent will find out that the grassroots coach might have been trying to do this, or rumored that, or allegedly might have been trying to trying to squeeze them for some money or a bag, and the word would get to that family or that kid. You know, I
Right.
mean, or
No, you're right. But hold on.
so if that's the same, that same coach can be doing career suicide then, but that happens all the time. Why do so many coaches let that parent and that kid know what that grassroots coach was up to, and when once they get them on a couple of years later, while they're on campus, or when they're 2 years in, they let them know the truth. Hey man, that time we met at the gas station, then you went in there and got something to eat. I gave you dude a bag, or we sent something. Did you get it? You're like, no, I ain't get it.
Let me tell you
So
why.
why do they tell them then?
Let me tell you why. And I'm not indicting myself and saying I've done any of these things. I'm just telling you why. Common sense. How do you silly man? I'm talking about common sense. Because here's what you find out when you engage and stuff like that. You never know how good the player is gonna be. Right? Them same people that are your allies, when you get the kid, could end up being your enemies when you have him on your campus. So you got to be careful. You know what I mean? You got to be careful because they will turn on you. Am I lying, Jimmy? They will turn on you very quickly because, as Jimmy would always say, that ain't how they wrote the plan. That ain't how they wrote it. Like, okay, it might have happened that way. Oh, he ended up getting his degree. That's great. Oh, he ended up, man. That's not what. That wasn't the plan. That was not the plan. He thought he was going to be there and be the best player. The hardest thing that people don't understand with recruiting is this: when you're a college coach, you're recruiting a kid. People don't realize it's equal. It's 13 guys on a scholarship. You don't know who's going to be the best player, but that's not what you're doing. You're recruiting. You're not coaching. You're recruiting so you can get 13 guys where you can find a formidable 8 or 9, right? You don't know who's going to be your best 9. You don't know who's going to be your best 3. All you know is you're bringing 13 dudes that are able to play at that level. Well, if you're recruiting, think about it, it's 3 or 4 coaches recruiting, and they all got their little real estate in their territory. If you're recruiting like, oh, my guy gonna be the best guy, and you talk to that parent that way, don't worry about what Jimmy doing. My guy, the guy. Then when they get there, guess what? Your guy ain't the guy, and you didn't promise all this stuff, and you didn't burn down the whole forest trying to make sure that this kid is the dude, and he get there and he ain't the dude. People turn on you. And then guess what? You start turning. And then better yet, Jimmy, guess what? That same guy, guess what he do? Get another job and go to another school. Right or wrong? He gone. After he didn't told them parents all that stuff and promised everything, he didn't got another job. He not even there no more. And that dude that he tried to do what? Say his dude was better than, and he in the meetings chopping up a guy. Guess what? He gone now, and that dude is still there. So what you think that dude gonna do to that kid now? Right or wrong? It happens all the time. That's the politics of this thing. So it's grimy, man. It can be really grimy, and I know any college coaches watching, they ain't gonna comment on that. They know better. They're not gonna comment on that because it's a grimy business. That's why we always know when you're a really good player, dude. All that nonsense don't apply to you. When you really really good, the nonsense don't apply. It don't apply. That's why we know when a dude is really good or a dude got a chance to be a pro. Like, yo, man, like, yeah, you're right. But not that guy right there. And the other 12 right here, we can play games with. But that dude, if we play games with him, we unemployed. We're not messing with him, you know? So usually when people are unhappy about what's going on, they're unhappy because here's my thing. And I've experienced this a million times. I think I'm off message here, and I'll let you jump back in, Jimmy. I've had parents be mad about stuff, be upset, family members. I mean, all my career. And I always come back to them with one thing. Hey man, I'm gonna give you 20 different things you could say, right? You could say whatever you want. Hey, we didn't do a good job. We didn't train them. We didn't do this. I'm gonna say one thing. Hey man, was he good enough? Did he do his part? I mean, I'm gonna give you every excuse in the world to say what didn't happen on our part. Y'all promised this, and y'all didn't do this, y'all didn't do that. And I'm gonna say, what did he do? Tell me what he did. You know what I'm saying, Jimmy? That's the thing that drives me crazy. Was he good enough? Maybe we made a mistake in bringing him here. Maybe that's our only real mistake. Forget about all the other stuff we didn't do because it worked for the other dude. You know what I'm saying? It worked for the other guys. It don't work for your kid. Maybe he's not good enough. Can we have that? Can I just give me that one? Maybe he's not good enough. And that's the one they don't want to hear, Jimmy. Anyway, go back on. I ain't mean to go off on that note like that, but I got a good one for you though, Jimmy. My little nephew called me this morning. My little nephew called me, says,
Okay.
Uncle Chris, I'm going to Atlanta. So what is this? I didn't even know the number. I sent his little butt to voicemail. I said, I don't know this number. Who calling me from 713? Right? He says, this is what the text was. What's up, It's you know who was asking advice going into the live period in Atlanta right now. I gave him 7 steps to success. You want to hear what I told him?
Yes.
Yeah. I said,
What you
number
got?
1, play every possession like it's your last. Well, I told him that's number 1. Number 2, be a great teammate on the floor. Number 3, be extremely respectful to your coach because they don't realize we're watching every single thing. How you treat your teammate, how you treat your coach, right? Do you play every possession like it's your last? No joking around on the bench. You know what I'm saying, Jimmy? They don't understand. We watching everything. Don't play around on the bench, man. Stay engaged. Number 5, score the basketball. Be efficient. It's still about basketball. You got to be a player. Like no one's getting a scholarship for being a nice guy. You get a scholarship because you can play basketball. Number 6, fill every part of the stat sheet. That means get steals, get rebounds, get assists, get defensive rebounds, offensive rebounds, block a shot. Fill everything. Don't just get points and rebounds or points and assists. That's what everybody realized. That's what everybody thinks is the only way you can get noticed. Fill every part of the stat sheet. And the last one, be a ball hawk on defense and go after loose balls and dive on the floor if you have to. If you do that, if you a half decent player, somebody gonna take notice, man. That's all you gotta do.
Wait a minute, Chris. Hold up, man. I got something for you on that one. I like that, dude. I can't find my clapping mechanism. Cause I ain't got no. I can't
That's what I need to do.
I'm serious about that.
That's what I need to do. You want to get noticed? You want to get noticed? You got because everybody. I'm just saying because everybody's out there trying to do all type of different things. And remember this, I said this on the Chop Shop not long ago. And I'm gonna ask Jimmy and see if Jimmy remember. Because I stole his 1 million friends, $1 million line. I coined that and told him it was my own. I already let him know that. I just stole that. That's been hijacked. That's been in a couple speeches already. But
wow.
How many
They're gonna think I stole it from you.
Plagiarism.
Exactly.
You can't do this for plagiarism, Chris. But keep going.
Exactly.
No, it's not plagiarism when you bite somebody.
He from Hall Street.
He didn't tell nobody.
It's called something else.
Come on, Chris.
It ain't called plagiarism, but he from Hall Street, so that's all legal. But hey, Hatter, how many minutes in a 32-minute game does a high school player have the ball in his hands?
Chris, I promise you, I thought it was about 2 or 3 minutes.
Now think about it. If you're a big guy, which means you don't, I'll repeat the list, Joshua, but you're a big guy, and that means you don't dribble the ball up and you're not in ball screens, right? How often you think you touching the ball in a game? You're playing defense probably half the time, so let's shave off, that many, 16 minutes is gone right there, right? You're not playing the whole, man, even if you play the entire 32-minute game, how many minutes do you think a big is actually catching the ball and touching it, Have? Think about that. He may touch it a minute.
I would say
A
Yeah,
minute,
maybe 2 minutes tops.
maybe less. Jimmy, how long does it take to shoot a basketball, Hatter?
A second. In the NBA, it
Exactly.
better
So
be
even if you
under a
got,
second because they're gonna block it.
so think
But keep
about this,
going.
Hatter. So even if you got 20 shots off, let's say you fired off 20 shots, that's 20 seconds. That's all you've touched it, and you got 20 shots. So now we talk about dribbling, or even if you get a rebound and you give it to a dude, that might be 2 seconds. So if you get 10 rebounds, that's 40 seconds. So how much you actually think you touching the ball? So if all your energy and focus is around the ball, there's 31 more minutes that's going on out there.
Mm.
Think about it. We got a problem. Now I'll give Jimmy something right there because I know we were getting into about Patrick Beverly. That's why he valuable. Because he don't have to have the ball to have an impact on the game. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And if you're asking me how do you make an impact in summer basketball, everybody can't score. There's only one leading scorer, guys. There's only one leading scorer.
Count. Give me that.
So
Give
what
me
I'm
that. Hey,
saying,
but one. How many is it? One. Just one leading scorer, right? Just one.
it's called leading.
Okay.
Leading means you lead.
Okay.
So and guess what? Every losing team got one too. The Sacramento Kings got a leading scorer.
Shut up.
No, the Sacramento Kings got a leading scorer. I'm just saying, Orlando Magic. I mean, guys that didn't make the playoffs, they got leading scorers. So my thing is, how are you going to make an impact, right? When you're playing in the summer, and that's where kids get lost in the sauce, is because they don't realize. Think about this. Let me break the summer down to you like this. Back in the day, Jimmy been doing this about 20 years, so Jimmy even noticed it's evolved over the times because coaches. I don't want to say coaches need him a lot less, but they can work their way around a lot more. You would agree or disagree, Jimmy? Than 20 years ago, coaches know how to move their way around a lot different than before.
Yeah.
Technology is definitely helped with that.
Information. Yeah.
And I'll let Jimmy explain.
What
Jimmy
you mean by
explain, like
move
back
their
in the
way
day.
around? What do you mean by move their way around?
Let Jimmy tell them. Tell them they can move their way. Tell them what I mean, Jimmy.
I mean, they don't need me to provide. If they wanted Chris Walker's cell phone number, and if I don't move fast enough, like back in the days, your ass wasn't getting Chris Walker's cell phone number until I get done off this call, and I give it to you in a few minutes if I'm doing something. Now, if I don't give it to you fast enough, then you'll be able to probably get Chris Walker's cell number if I don't respond in 2 minutes. That's one of the things that they better get around.
Even
So they need to
even
get
like
something
with
done.
Instagram. Jimmy, tell me, even with Instagram or schedules or like technology has sped this thing up like wildfire, man. It's changed the game. It's changed the game. So, what also more so what I was saying is that before college coach, think about this, man. Back in the day, if I was from Maine and I wanted to recruit Houston, I had to call Jimmy. And if I didn't know Jimmy Hicks, I probably would not even go down there. You gotta understand something. I probably wouldn't go because I'm not gonna get on a plane. You gotta understand the economics of it. If I get on a plane and fly down to Houston to see a high school game, a rental car, and a meal, right? If I fly down there, if I don't know what I'm looking at, and that may be a big part of my budget. So when I call Jimmy Hicks said, hey man, don't drive all the way to Sugar Land and watch that game because you can't drive from Sugar Land to Humble because you don't know the traffic. You understand? Jimmy know what I'm talking about. You got to know the city. You just can't do that. It doesn't, it's like, yo, man, well, I can just go to the Bronx and go to Brooklyn. And I go, yo, bro, do you understand what traffic is like in New York? You can't do that in one day. Like, it don't work like that, right? So my point is, they use Jimmy and those guys as guides. So sometimes it's better not to go on that trip. You got to be like, well, you know what, man? I need to make that trip doing the McDonald's, all of the McDonald's tournament than going to see him for one game because I can stay there for 4 days and I can see 50 teams. Does that make sense? As opposed to going and see play once. Like, you need a guide, bro. I'm just telling you, it's not that easy. The point I'm making about technology is back in the day, if you didn't have a Jimmy Hicks, you would waste so much time, bro. Like, think about it. People don't realize if I go to a tournament and there's 300 teams, 300 teams. You go, even if you go to GMI, let's say that's 50 teams or 60 teams. I can only watch one game at a time. You understand that? I don't even care if Jimmy got the courts. Like, what's that one place, Jimmy, over there in by Westfield High School with the courts all next to each other? What's the name?
MI3 Center.
MI3.
Even if you at the MI3 and you sit and you position to watch two games at the same time, do you know how hard it is to watch two games at the same time? Like really lock in and focus and watch two games, head swiveling back and forth. You can only really watch one game.
You can watch them, but you ain't paying attention. You ain't paying attention. That's the thing that people don't know. You're not paying attention. You're watching. You sit there,
and then you got a college.
So you want to just sit there. So people think you watch. You paying attention.
Yeah, you're not paying attention. You there's a shirt and a shirt on it. So think about it this way. That's happening, right, Hatter? Now think about what else is happening. I just said it's 300 teams at the icebreaker. How are you gonna get seen? How are you gonna get noticed? It's 300 teams. They can only watch one quarter at a time. So if you ain't called Jimmy Hicks before you got there, Jimmy, I need to know who the top 10 players are. I need to know what court they're going to be on. And I need to know, because I got to plan my day, because I also got to catch a flight at such and such time. You see what I'm coming with, Hatter? College coaching is about efficiency. So now all them people think, man, Jimmy Hicks don't matter. That don't matter. Oh, you don't think it matters? You actually think that they say, oh, let me look at the list of events. Shop. I'm just going to go there and see what I can find. You out of your mind. It don't work like that. Am I lying, Jimmy? It don't work like that. They know exactly who they coming to see before they get there. And the only chance you got to be seen if you playing against the kids that they going to see.
And Chris, and I'm glad, I want to
I'm
add
just
something.
telling you.
I didn't realize how efficient they were. And because I just wasn't that close to no coach. But when Penny and I went to the when I met Penny at the what's EYBL at the Peace Jam, Jimmy, he had on his phone a schedule on who and where he had to be at what time.
Yeah.
He said,
And listen,
which court?
And listen,
Which court?
They don't
Yes.
deviate. They don't deviate from it.
No.
They don't sit there. Oh, I'm just gonna watch this. No, they gonna follow that schedule.
Yes, because somebody done told somebody Penny gonna be there at that certain time. He told me, man, I got to go over here now. Come with me now. I got to go see this guy. I got to be right here. I got to be here. I got to.
And here's a crazy part. Here's a crazy part. It might be a game that's coming up right after that with a dude that can play. And you know what he gonna say? That's cool, but I gotta go to that game.
Yes.
People don't understand, man.
Yes.
They don't understand.
We did it.
Man, I heard about this other kid over there. Hey, man, let me know how he play, man. I got to go to court 4. Am I lying, Jimmy?
Chris, I saw it.
And you know what? And you know what? And it's funny. It's good as hell because it's a hell of a topic.
Yes.
And a lot of people share the show right now.
Yeah.
And one last show. We only got about 10 minutes left on the Chop Shop. I'm telling you guys, it's Baby Friday. So let's get this topic is really, really, really informative because a lot of people have no idea. When I meet the college coaches, when I meet them, like I'm saying, I'm bumping to them, different ones. I'm working like they're working. And what I normally do is I ask them, what time is your gap? Or I say, what time is your last game?
Yeah.
Some guys got to stay all the way to 10 o'clock at night. Some guys may got 3 more kids to watch because they playing with house money right now, depending on the status of the program, you know, and the pressure to go and get some players. Yeah, how many scholarships they got left. So one guy might say, well, I got a gap after this 12 o'clock game cheat sheet. I got a gap to 2. So that might be the 2 things I'm gonna do. Either we gonna go and get us a shrimp basket, or we gonna go and I'm gonna put you on somebody that might be playing that they can get. Now, here's the thing, guys. Well, this is the part where it gets fuzzy. It's not my obligation to make every Division I coach watch your baby if he's not a Division I prospect. If I doesn't deem him as a Division I prospect off that level, because that means I'm wasting that coach time. Do you understand what it means if I tell Chris Walker, if he's getting ready to go and drive from the gym to the MI3 Center and he's getting ready to go catch his other game and he really want to get a bump in the parking lot with the mama, or the dad, the mama's, you get, that's what a bump is when, what terminology for when a coach could run into you accidentally, but it really ain't accidentally. So they call it a bump. So if he want to get a bump, and I'm telling Chris, you got to see this one kid, man. I know you got to get over here, but just watch him 3-4 possessions, man. Just watch him. And if Chris watched that kid, and that kid ain't nowhere near the level that he recruiting, I'm done. I ain't gonna never be able to get Chris to come and watch another freaking kid for the long-term future, but ever again under those circumstances. So that's what I mean by keeping your credit good. There's a coach for your son, and most of the sons out there, it was a live damn period for your kids every damn week this year. Was your live periods? Just don't get this stuff twisted. Everybody, if you know the numbers, Chris gave y'all the stats yesterday on the average of the amount of players going to Division I. Y'all heard that, but didn't want to hear it. So I say this again: the vast majority of your players, if you're on a non-sneaker sponsored 17 and U team, put it like that: on a non-sneaker sponsored 17 and U team, 99% of your team, the majority is not a Division I player. Prospect. Let that soak in. That don't mean you don't got one. That don't mean you got two. But the majority.
Right. What you about to say, Chris?
Or another way of saying it, your chances are fewer. Because they're going to see you fewer times. That's all it is. It's exposure. And I'll say this. Back to what I was saying with both 7 little steps. When they say, I forget who it was a player that said, hey, man, why you play so hard? Why? It was an NFL or NBA, MLB guy. And he says, hey, man, because somebody may see me for the first time. It don't even matter what everybody said about me. If they say I'm great, and if I take a play off, that may be the first time somebody ever saw me. You see what I'm saying? That's why I play every possession. If you're a non-sneaker dude, or if you're just a kid, period, trying to get a scholarship, you don't realize the attention span of college coaches are slim and none. They have their attention span is terrible. To captivate them, the one possession you may take off may be the one time you watching, Hatter. You see what I'm saying? Don't take possessions off. Every possession matters. You never know the possession that's going to be the one that the college coach sees and be like, oh, wow, that guy caught my attention. Or, as Jimmy said before, Jimmy's saying, I got to go catch a flight. Jimmy's saying, hey, man, stay here and watch that kid. And he stays and watch that kid, and that's the day that you decide to take time and be like, I don't feel like playing. I just ate this hot dog. I just did this. I just did that. Last point, I'll tell you this. I know we got to run. When you play multiple games in a day, all right? Mark Price, I don't know if you guys remember Mark Price, yes, who played for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He was a head coach of Charlotte. And I remember him saying this. I interviewed him. He says, Chris, I hate summer basketball because it de-emphasizes winning. I said, what do you mean by that? He says, because they play so many games in a day, when they lose a game, they know they got another game to play. They don't even care. They don't even care. They know we're going to play again at 4 o'clock. No big deal. But what they don't realize is, guys, I may have watched the 2 o'clock game when you sucked. You do play at 4, but guess who ain't going to be there? Me. That's what guys don't realize. Sometimes if you're on a non-sneaker team, you may only get that one game.
Hey, man.
I'm just telling you, man.
You know why I'm laughing, Chris? I saw this.
What?
I saw this up close and personal when my son was playing. Man, these coaches ain't got no patience, y'all, with y'all. Oh my goodness, man.
You could take one shot. You could take one shot, man. I don't like his release. I'm like, what? I said, bro, people don't understand how hard it is.
Crazy.
But see, because we always glorify the good stuff. Like, we always glorify the best part of it. We make such a fuss about it. That's why the Instagram and all that stuff in Sports Center is, I'm not saying it's not great because it's entertainment, but when it comes down to reality, it ain't real. The top 10 ain't real. We don't never show the top 10 bad plays. We only show hey, let me ask you a question. Tell somebody to get on Instagram and show us their lowlights instead of their highlights. Show us their top 10 lowlights. Show us those. Show us. I'm just telling you. So you don't ever see those. So guess what? Them college coaches, You got to understand how they see things. When the guys don't make it to the league, I went to the combine and I see them 30 NBA scouts up there, them GMs, they looking at it differently too. They don't care that you play that Duke. That has nothing to do with that you played at North Carolina. If that was the case, Hatter, then only dudes that go to Kentucky and North Carolina and Duke will be in the NBA.
Hello.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
You preach
Right
it,
or
Rev.
wrong.
You preach it.
I'm just telling you. So when
Say,
people
man,
say,
hey,
man,
guess what?
Jimmy
We can
Hicks,
go.
what he say don't matter.
Yeah.
I
We
said,
can
that
go
man
on
don't
and
matter
on.
what Jimmy.
Get us
I
out
know
of here,
what you
Jimmy.
talking about. Oh, yeah? Oh, y'all don't think with Jimmy's? Y'all don't think what Hatter say matter? Y'all don't think college coaches call Hatter? He on the chop shop? Y'all don't think that matter? Y'all think Hatter over there just doing contract advisor? You don't think anybody else call his phone? Y'all think Jimmy just ranking people and think people don't call when they come to Houston? You think that they don't say, I gotta check in with whether they take it, I gotta check in with the cheat sheet.
Yeah.
He might have one nugget for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you this
Man,
last thing. I had a college coach. I'm not
so
gonna tell you
many.
who it was. Called me the other day.
Uh-huh.
I had a college coach from the Big 12 called me the other day. Chris, I need your help. Hit me the other day, right?
Uh-huh.
I said, listen, man. He said, I know you got a couple dudes stashed somewhere. I said, I don't know. I said, look, I'm gonna give you the number to this guy. I want you to call this guy. Y'all say y'all need this. Hit him up. I'm gonna connect y'all, and then y'all talk after that. Do you not know that dude went from desperado to offering a kid a scholarship? Just like that, just because I connected him. If they don't think for 2 seconds that Robert Hatter and Jimmy the same stuff going on, they have lost their mind. Them dudes don't have all the answers, man. They need people in the community to help them. And sometimes they don't have the time. Sometimes when the clock is running out, Robert Hatters and Chris Walkers and Jimmy Hicks, they way more valuable when that clock running out. I'm just telling you. I'm just keeping 100 with you.
I can't say that. I'm just sitting up and
Start
laughing.
picking, huh?
Yeah, I'm just sitting up and laughing because what you're saying, we live this every day. People think we
Every
be on this
day.
every day. We live this, and these guys be fighting for y'all. I mean, it just amazes me sometimes. And I know we got to wrap it up. The stories that I hear from people, man, he ain't trying to help me. Let me tell you something.
And please.
Input, Jimmy, I love what you always say. Input equal output. Input.
It's got to.
Keep me informed on what you're doing. I know one kid is gonna. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I know one kid is gonna excel in life in anything he want to do, because guess what? His mom and dad, they called and tried to build the foundation, asking me questions about what the play. It's a process. What they call it, the process. They gonna be so ahead of the game in 10 months. They gonna be sitting back saying, "Well, who y'all been talking to? Who?" Because guess what? They gonna be able to sit in a room with anybody and be able to navigate through these waters of trying to be a college athlete or NBA athlete. That's the value of this. That's the added value of the guys that's affiliated with the Chop Shop. But Jimmy, get us on out of here, man. You know that water is waiting
Yeah,
on me.
man.
Now. Chris, I didn't show you the view I got.
I
right
know where
here.
he at though.
Huh?
I know where he at though.
Yes, sir. That's all right. But I'm trying to get out there. They waiting on me. They looking at me crazy. They'll be looking at me like, if you don't get off that thing. But they know I love the Chop Shop so much.
that's just what we about to do. And of course, Crystal Wicks, if you hold that thought and wrap it around to Monday, we'll entertain that on Monday.
Yeah.
She mentioned something. Chrissy asked a question about all-star games, and we have an all-star game story and some education for you guys firsthand about all-star games. Because if I look back, I think the best all-star game that came through Houston in the past 20 years, somebody on the screen had their fingerprints on that all-star game, you know, and as far as the ambiance of it, for real, seriously, talking about a high school all-star game.
High school all-star game.
And
okay.
yeah, and I remember what year it was. About 13 years ago, Chris, something like that.
It was a while ago.
At
Superstar
Rice,
weekend.
at archery
Superstar
court
weekend.
at Rice University.
That's
was
right.
that Rice?
That's true. Yes,
Is that Rice?
Right.
Yeah,
Rice
that thing was
University.
off the
I remember
chain. Then people, and we'll just
It
on
was.
Monday.
Talk about that,
remind us,
Mike.
Crystal, and we'll give you some intel about all-star games, because in your that way it can help educate you, because she says, Chris, that way if you do all-star game, that way no matter what the players, no matter what, the players that need to be seen are seen. That ain't always the case. I mean, give you the trick about all
Never.
stuff.
Hell
That
no.
ain't always the case. Somebody has miseducated the hell out of you on that. And but we'll talk about that on Monday. Talk about a lot of stuff on Monday as well. Of course, the NBA
Gotta stay away
championships
from
will
them
be
sharks,
3
Adam.
games in. Yeah, we'll be 3 games in. We'll talk about the NBA finals as well on Monday. Is somebody gonna either be in trouble or it will be a great ass series on deck? One of the two we'll know come Monday. And so
I'm taking off my
so
shirt,
also
Jimmy.
it's time
Jimmy, I'm
to
finna go
slide
out
down
there
Dino's back.
Jimmy, I'm finna go
No,
out there topless. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Don't do that, Adam. Don't do that. Hey, you
Don't do it
remember
on the
Professor
show.
Clump? You take that damn shirt off, man. That thing gonna don't do that, man. Don't do
All right,
that,
we
man.
out, man.
Don't do that.
I see
Man.
y'all later.
It's time to yabba do this thing, guys, on Baby Friday. We'll see you guys.
Jim Hicks, Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop.